everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Where Do They Get Those Wonderful Commentaries. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Danny.
I've got a Danny Nixon in my belfry. Today, Danny and I are going to do the long-awaited, much-anticipated, I am sure, Bob the Goon commentary of Batman 1989. That's right, for the next 2 hours, Danny and I are going to talk almost exclusively about everybody's favorite Batman 89 character, Bob the Goon.
That sounded a little sarcastic. Am I hearing a little bit of sarcasm from Cap about my favorite character in all of Batman lore, Bob the Goon?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend! I apologize!
My second favorite Bob, second only to Bob the Builder, is Bob the Goon.
Oh, there's a lot of great Bobs, right? There's Bob Vila, there's Bob Cratchit, there's Bob Newhart. There's a lot of good Bobs.
A couple good Roberts here and there. A few
right,
Bobbies.
Yeah, Robert Picardo, Bob Picardo. I mean, most Roberts are also Bobs.
True.
But yeah, gonna throw out some random factoids that I have learned about Bob the Goon, and we're gonna talk about his pivotal role in this movie and how important he is to the Joker's plot. We will see how well we manage to stretch an entire 2 hours on Bob the Goon, but I don't know about you, I have quite a bit to say.
I have a lot that I'm just going to make up on the fly, I'm sure. And just kind of spitball and make up my own headcanon for Bob.
I just feel like this is the kind of thing you can get away with when you're going to watch the same movie 7 times. You know, we needed some different angles and topics, and I'm like, I feel like we are probably going to be the first 2 people in history to talk about Bob the Goon for 2 hours while watching the film. I think we are making history with this commentary.
Watch us go on YouTube, and there's like 14 of these.
Everybody had the same idea we did. They were like, we are so tired of making Batman 89 commentaries. Let's just talk about Bob. But I feel like we are finally going to answer that age-old question, what about Bob? What about Bob?
Sorry, I can't hold it. This is great.
If you want to watch the movie with us, the Bob the Goon biopic, get out your Blu-ray, your DVD, however you want to watch it. Get it past all the menus to timestamp 0, and get ready to watch the ever-loyal Bob helping his friend Jack Napier as soon as I say play. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
Here we go! Everybody please press play right now! So, of course, as we alluded to on the last commentary, there were only 3 action figures for this film. One of them was, of course, the titular character in the Bob biopic, Batman. And then there was the Joker with his hat that never quite stayed on his head. And then there was Bob the Goon. He was the only other figure. And Tracy Walker, who played Bob the Goon, has gone on record to say how much he loves that he got to be an action figure, and has just raved about his figure. And it is one of the hardest figures to stand on a shelf because it has a kick gimmick that gets kind of off kilter because you press a lever in the back and it kicks. It's really hard to stand. It's really irritating.
See, I've always heard about the kind of like the bewilderment of people of why on earth did Bob over anyone else get a figure. I never realized he had like a kicking kind of gimmick to the toy. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in person.
Yeah, we actually have a video on it on the channel if you want to go see a full 7 or 8 minute review of the Bob the Goon figure.
Okay, that's amazing. I've got to go check that out because
my wife was doing a series on her own for a while on action figures, and that's one of the figures she reviewed.
See, earlier today I actually went back and rewatched the review of the NES NECA.
Yeah,
neon Batman figure.
That's a cool figure.
I saw one at Books A Million one time and was like, this is such a cool figure. I'd love to have it if I had other Batman 89 related stuff. Yeah, we're just getting on the toys, but it's such a cool looking figure. So if I could ever stumble upon that figure again and the Bob figure, I know exactly what would be the start of my Batman 89 collection.
Well, the nice thing about the Bob figure is that about Bob the Goon, I guess, is that he's one of the easiest characters in Batman lore to collect, because there's like two things. You can get the Bob the Goon figure, and he's got a trading card, and I think that's probably about it. I would love to have Bob the Goon on a t-shirt. I think that would be wonderful.
That would be great. And, you know, you're a completionist when it comes to collection, and so am I to an extent. It would be great to mark two things off and be like, done. I got
That's
that
it.
collection.
I got all of it. I got all of Bob the Goon.
Gotham City, home of Bob the Goon.
Yeah, and probably his whole life, I would imagine. You know, like we're gonna have to guess at a lot of Bob's backstory because we know really nothing about this guy. I mean, we know that he's been loyal to Jack Napier going pretty far back. I wonder if he was there when he killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
Oh man, can you imagine the inner turmoil Bob must feel being an accomplice to the murder of two innocent people? That's got to weigh on your conscience, especially if they're two very important people in Gotham's history, a city he must have grown up in and must have loved as Thomas and Martha Wayne.
See, that's not the sense I get from him. I get the sense that he is like about as sadistic as Jack is, and in this like he probably had like a really horrible upbringing and lived on the streets, and this is like his outlet. You know, this allows him to do violence. Like he's not. I would imagine that a lot of his psyche is about not actually being responsible for any of the bad things he does because he's just following orders. You know, from his best friend. And he actually kind of gets off on it, is the sense I get.
See, I always took him as a very conflicted young man growing up, and he was always under Jack's shadow, so he's always kind of felt his place is there. Even
I never noticed that Pepsi can. That'll be my thing to mark off for that. There's a Pepsi can, and I never noticed that.
I wonder if Bob is a fan of Pepsi. But
yeah. Is Bob more of a Pepsi or Coke guy? That's a good question. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't even interrupt you.
Well, no, I think he's someone who's conflicted. He feels a sense of responsibility to Jack, but he also doesn't necessarily want to do the things that Jack is making him do. But, you know, Jack's crazy. He's a Joker, so what is he going to do? Say no?
Yeah, maybe so. It's just he seemed to always really enjoy what he was doing.
Yeah, it's interesting that we can watch the exact same movie and have two completely different takes on such an important character to the plot.
Walker's performance is real nuanced.
There's a lot to digest, which is really interesting for this
Think about
material.
It. At one time, he was probably just like one of these guys, just, you know, sitting on a roof counting all the money that they just stole. And look how far up the ladder he's managed to go.
I know he's got a real pull yourself up by the bootstraps mentality. He got in there, he did the work, he climbed the ranks of this mob, and look at him. He's Jack's right hand man by the end of this. It's amazing.
I want to know how the Goon moniker came to be. Like, everyone refers to him as Bob the Goon. He's not just, you know, Bob, Joker's right-hand man. Like, everyone refers to him after this as Bob the Goon. Is it just because it said that on his action figure? Because it does.
That's got to be why everyone associates the Goon with him. But I also think it's probably thrown in there because everyone's got a gimmick. You know, it's Joker, it's Batman. Bob doesn't stand out too much.
That's true. And he wasn't given a last name in the movie. The script gives him one.
Oh, really? What is it?
Yeah, in the script, it's he's Robert Hawkins. He's Bob Hawkins.
Huh. I like that his last name also ties into the bird motif of a Batman.
And Hawkins, we are stretching now. Actually, I say the script. I know it was in the novelization, and I think it might have been given there first. Maybe it wasn't in the script. I'm not sure. It wasn't in the script I read, but I don't know if it showed up later. Maybe yeah.
Well, at least now we know a first and last name. We can search the Gotham phone books to see if we can find his address. Maybe that'll lead us to a birthday, maybe eventually a social security number, so we can find out how much Bob is pulling in after taxes.
That's great. I'd love to know how old he is. Like, is he close to the same age as Jack Napier, or is he a little bit older? Like, he's balding. I don't know. I get the sense he might have like 10 years on Jack.
Maybe.
I say that. I mean, like, Nicholson's already, you know, what, pushing 50 or in his 50s by now.
I would think so. He maybe Bob just has poor genetics in the family, and male pattern baldness is a trait. And
maybe so. I mean, I think Nicholson might be playing a character younger than himself in this movie.
Oh, I get that sense too.
Yeah,
it feels like a role written for a younger Nicholson than what actually he was at the time.
So Bob's action figure calls him Bob the Joker's Goon. Everybody calls him after that Bob the Goon. What's really funny is the action figure has a different last name listed for him. So there's there's contention as to what Bob's last name actually is. So the novelization, it's Hawkins. He has like an Italian mobster last name according to the action figure. He's Robert quotes Crazy Bob Capistrano.
Well, much like the Joker, if he has to have an origin, he prefers it to be a multiple choice.
I think I like Capistrano better than I like Hawkins.
I do too. It fits the gangster the gangster theme of Grissom's entire crew that would later become Jack's entire crew.
You notice how almost none of them have Italian accents?
I know. Some of them, at least in the scene where Joker introduces himself to all the crime bosses,
when he's taken off his makeup.
Yeah, well, that and everyone in there kind of has that like stereotypical like Italian gangster look.
Yeah,
everyone in this film seems to give off that like gangster air or Italian gangster air as far as accent or mannerisms go.
No, they're kind of doing like fake New York accents before they're doing anything. A lot of them, right? Yeah,
which is, kind of the obvious place to go since Gotham comes from New York. But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess for this material, it fits to go with that pseudo New York aspect with the accents and everything.
Yeah, there's an older guy that's sort of doing an Italian thing, and when I say Italian, I mean like like gangster Italian, not like from Italy in the first place.
Yeah. More of the stereotypical Godfather type of...
Right, yeah, exactly. Although it's funny because, I meant to mention this when I reviewed the original Scarface on the Omnibus, the 1933 film. The accents in that are less that and more like some of those people actually came from Italy. Like they were first generation immigrants.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's really interesting.
I've never watched the first one. I've only seen the remake, which is more of a Miami kind of Cuban and Hispanic type of
right, yeah.
Influence.
I've never seen that. I've now only seen the original Scarface, which is a movie I know almost no one who's actually seen. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you've got it completely backwards. Most people have seen the remake and don't even realize it's a remake.
Yeah, well, I mean, that only happens, I guess, when somebody requests it on the channel. Because somebody asked me to watch that. I was like, but I've not seen the one everyone knows. He's like, no, that's fine. I want you to talk about it. I was like, all right. So we're about to get our first appearance of Bob the Goon here in a second. And he has a glorious introduction when he pops up in front of Eckhart. And Jack Napier says, better be sure.
Yeah, right from the beginning when we first get an actual introduction to Bob the Goon, it's an intimidating presence. He comes out guns a-blazing, and he's ready to do whatever Jack needs him to do.
Or at least he comes out with a gun. Like if they were a-blazing, then Eckhart would already be dead. But
true. Maybe he's a bad shot. Maybe.
Oh no! I guess his actual introduction is he's pretending to wax a car.
Huh.
Look, he's there in the background. He's pretending to wax that car. That's his intro. But I don't think most people notice him in the background. But that's what he's doing. He is a lot like. I mean, I guess retroactively, the character I'm about to say is a lot like Bob, but he's a lot like the Wesley character in the Daredevil show.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that he does everything for Jack. He asks no questions. He is loyal to a fault.
Yeah, and in a show that's so influenced by comics. Obviously, it's based on a comic book character like Daredevil, but it also pulls a lot of tropes and kind of turns them on their head of of past things that have happened in comics and comic adaptations. You have to think that a character as influential as Bob had to have been in the mind of the person creating that character in Daredevil and how they were portraying him.
Now, one thing I think is kind of odd about how Bob is protecting his boss there is that he's also hiding behind his boss.
Yeah, it's...
Like, wouldn't you think he'd step out in front of him so that he would get shot, so that... to protect Jack? But he pulls his gun from behind his boss over his shoulder.
I think what we're starting to see are the subtle hints that Bob is looking to take over the entire mob business. He's willing to sacrifice Jack if that means meeting his ultimate goal of being the most important person in this mob.
Well, sure, that would be the no honor among thieves kind of thing. Would have been really interesting if they took it that way. If the reason he stuck around after Jack became the Joker was because he was like, well, this guy's insane. It's going to be easier now.
Well, I guess we'll get to it when we get to the third act, but he's in the helicopter, isn't he?
He is in the helicopter, yeah.
Yeah, see, this is all working. It was all Bob's plan all
Oh,
along.
no, he's not. No, he's not. He gets killed before that. Don't forget. Bob Gunn.
Oh,
Bob
right.
Gunn is very important. Yep.
Oh, man.
Because that's where I say loyal to a fault. We're getting ahead of ourselves. And there's only so much Bob to talk about. We'll get there. But, yeah, he's... no, it seems like he really likes... This is my interpretation of Bob. And there, I guess, are many interpretations. Bob is... for whatever reason, because we don't get the background, really, really loyal to Jack, will do anything for his friend. I remembered that first scene as we're introduced to him as he steps in front of he would walk in front of a bullet for Jack. I don't know if that's true now because I forgot that he was over the shoulder. But
at point blank range, it's very easy to miss Jack and shoot over his shoulder into Bob.
That's true, yeah.
So...
He's still really risking his life, right? But then the really curious thing is that he continues to stay with him even after he becomes the Joker, and he's really unpredictable and more unhinged if you take my and Danny's interpretation of the Joker and not the pretty wildly popular he's exactly the same guy after he becomes the Joker, which the more I watch this, and we're doing a lot of that lately, the more I'm not at all buying that idea. He does not seem to be the same person.
No, and I think there are slivers of that same person, obviously, that Bob still connects to on an emotional level because he spent so much time with Jack, and then it's hard to let that go when he becomes the Joker because he still sees those little traces of him in there, but he really loses a lot of that Jack Napier that he was, and
we see no difference in Bob at all.
No,
he doesn't question it whatsoever.
No, Bob is a very good, loyal friend. He doesn't judge. You know, Jack's appearance changes drastically, and Bob doesn't even wince. I think that's a very, very, very.
But if he's doing this
great
because
trait to have in a friend.
Yeah, well, two things. If he's doing this because it's fun, it might be more fun when his boss has gone crazy and is trying to take over everything. And the second thing is, if you're right and he's trying to climb a ladder or kind of like mirror universe, take out whoever he needs to take out to get up to the top, he's continuing to follow Jack because Jack takes over the mob.
Yeah, I think there's some loyalty to him, obviously, if he's willing to stand behind him and point a gun at Echo. But I think he's cunning. You have to be cunning in your own way to make it up the ladder of success that he's gotten to so far of being Jack's right-hand man, even before Jack takes over the mob.
It's also possible that he's been doing that because these are older guys, or at least middle-aged guys. It's possible that he's been doing this for so long he just doesn't have another place.
True.
Like that has just been his life. Maybe he even got the scar protecting Jack. Very
true. Jack could have gotten into an altercation with the guy that we see later with all the knives, and Bob stepped in front of him and took one for the team.
Remind me, because I want to wait until we get to the scene. Bob has everything to do with why that scene happened.
Oh, that's right.
And we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, I think Bob might have led a really hard life that just he doesn't fit in anywhere else in society. He can't get a normal 9-to-5 job. This is the only life he's known, and this is what he's
and obviously he's got a record a mile wide, a mile long, I'm sure. I would love to see the scene where Bruce Wayne is looking at his record and talking about all of the things he's really good at. You know, like chemistry and art. Like what's his list, I wonder, of accolades or aptitudes?
We know he's good at pretending to wax a car.
He might be a really good car waxer. You don't know.
He's got his own body shop. Bob the Goon's body shop.
It might also be that he's just really lazy, where like he was told to wax the car, but he didn't really feel like waxing the car, and I'm honestly not totally sure what he was doing there. Or it might have been Tracy Walker going, I don't really feel like waxing this car.
It's like the Tommy Wiseau thing of everyone's going to be throwing a football, so they've got something to do with their hands. Only he took that to mean, I'll wax this car.
Yeah, right, sure. He just found a rag in the prop department and brought it with him. Tracy Walker gets cast in this because he is already a good friend of Jack Nicholson's, and Jack was asked who he would like to play that part, and that was his number one choice. So from the beginning, Tracy Walker was Jack's number one.
So I think we're not reading too far into it when we think that he's very loyal to Jack, you know, both Napier and Nicholson.
Yeah. Well, and especially, I mean, Walker would have been thrilled. He'd never been in a project this high profile. He was a character actor. I don't know what else he's been in. I've not looked into him.
You mean you haven't seen the spinoff Bob the Goon?
No, and I mean, I know it got 5 seasons, but
5 seasons and a movie. No, he in a way
it was a TV movie
made for TV. It was on Hallmark. It was very touching. in a way, Bob the Goon. Bob the Goon, in many ways, is kind of like Joker's Alfred Pennyworth. He's the guy who's there, who's making everything happen behind the scenes. He's helping him cut up all the pictures. He's helping him get all the chemicals he needs. He's the man behind the smile.
Yeah, I'm looking at his filmography. He's been in a lot of movies, but he definitely hadn't been in anything quite this high profile before this movie. Nothing I've ever seen. He was in. Remember I told you my favorite Western is High Noon?
Is he in that?
I didn't know there was a sequel. There was a TV movie called High Noon Part 2, The Return of Will Kane. He's in that. I didn't know that existed.
Okay,
He's in something called Mortuary Academy. I gotta look that up. Oh, he was in Two Jakes.
Huh. Did he get any bigger work after this movie came out?
It looks like he was in, some high-profile movies, but not. I don't know if he ever got a major role. He was in City Slickers. I don't even remember that. But that movie also stars Jack Palance.
Okay, you're gonna think this is. Well, maybe you're not gonna think this is a joke, but there was a play developed called Who Mourns.
Oh, I was waiting for that. I was waiting on that. I was going to talk about that later. No. I was going to bring that up later.
Oh crap! I spoiled it. I figured since we had just talked about his.
Oh no, that's okay. It's just we are only 20 minutes in, and I need material, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, there was a play in 2016, an off-Broadway thing called Who Mourns for Bob the Goon, about a guy who thinks he is Bob the Goon and goes to a group of like a therapy group of other people who all think that they're like third-rate comic book characters.
Okay, I've got to see this now. That sounds amazing. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I was looking for a script or footage on YouTube or anything, and I hope it gets another run at some point, because I would really like to see that. It sounds really cool.
So that means you'd have 3 parts, or a third part to add to your Bob the Goon collection.
Well, that's true. Yeah, if you could get your hands on like a playbook or something.
Yeah, or if
they let you shoot
imagine.
It.
Yeah, just imagine being like a big, wealthy executive producer in Hollywood, and you see that play, and you auction off you get the film rights.
If that goes to if they make a movie of that, oh, that would be amazing. What I was thinking was it would be fun to show up in costume.
Oh man, that would be so great.
To a showing of that, just to show up dressed up as Bob the Goon.
Yeah, get that really cool Joker jacket with the Joker emblem on the side. Get that hat. Grow your hair out a little bit. Get the scar.
shave it in the middle because I'm not prematurely bald.
That's a dedication to it.
Well, it's Bob the Goon. You got to be as loyal to the part you're playing as Bob is to the Joker. That's
good. Some true method acting on your part. Good job, Cav.
Yeah, method acting to show up to watch a play.
Well, to get it, you have to be in character if you're going to go to something where it's about a guy who thinks he is the character. It's a meta on meta on meta thing.
That's true. I think the reason, going back to our conversation at the very beginning, because of course this begins and ends with action figures, I think the reason that they made Bob when they were only making 3 figures and not anybody else is he's the closest character after Batman and the Joker to having a costume. Like,
yeah.
Who else? What? Like Pat Hingle's Gordon? Like, who else would you make? At that time we weren't doing a lot of figures of characters that weren't action characters. Ninja Turtles had April O'Neil and stuff like that, but that's because I imagine... some of that is because that show made every single character that was in that show, practically, and a bunch of characters that weren't, but also there weren't a lot of female characters in that show, and it had a lot of, fans that were girls, and also, the Turtles gotta have somebody to rescue, right? But... you could have put out a Vicky Vale, I guess, but I can imagine, especially before action figures based on movies were really a big thing, they're maybe thinking, yeah, but is anybody going to buy that? Is that going to be the one that stays in the rack all the time?
Yeah, the only other, memorable henchman from this movie I could think of would maybe be Lawrence. Because
Lawrence,
he's got
with his big boombox.
And the handlebar mustache, which is a memorable look, but he's not as prevalent in this as Bob the Goon is, obviously.
Yeah, you could have made the henchmen, more of them. I guess you could have made Eckhart. One of the problems too is most of the characters you would think to make toys out of are bad guys. It's a really unusual property in that it was one of the first movies to have figures sold real hard to kids like that, and you had a hero and 2 bad guys, and that was really unusual. There were a lot of lines before that would just have the heroes and nobody for them to fight.
Yeah, and you would think that maybe they would pull more from the non-movie canon, more from Batman's normal stuff, and maybe put their own Robin out. But if there had been a plan at some point to include him in the movie, they wouldn't have. Maybe they would have not been given the okay of, no, we may do that at some point. We don't want any kind of brand confusion.
Well, here's what's really interesting. They did that with Batman Returns, and I have that figure.
Oh, that's right, they did.
Yeah. There is a Robin for Batman Returns.
Yeah, because they used that same body for the Robin figure for the Batman the Animated Series line.
That's right, I forgot about that. Wouldn't it have been neat, but to your point, you could have done one of these cops. These cops have cool costumes. Wouldn't it have been really neat to see the 89 aesthetic in action figure form for other villains and things, if you were like, what would their Mr. Freeze look like, or their Two-Face before we got to Batman Forever?
Oh, absolutely.
If they did Billy D. Williams Two-Face in action figure form.
Yeah, and one of the things, when we eventually do the one about the influence, I was going to talk about is the proposed comic that was done. And there's some...
it's a really cool artwork.
Yeah, the Batgirl is such a really cool look. I think it's so unconventional, but I really like how they do that.
I have to go back and look at it. I forget what she looks like.
Yeah, she's got kind of like this poncho thing that's scalloped like a bat cape, like the bat cape normally is, and I really like it. It's a really unique take on like the cape trope.
Oh, cool. Do you know why we're not seeing Bob right now in this scene?
Because he's smart and he's hiding from Batman.
Because the Fonz go first, yeah.
Exactly. He's Magneto in this situation.
That's right. Well, Joker is. Joker's holding back his lieutenant. I don't even know if... Did we see Bob at the beginning of this? Is Bob even here? Is he in this building?
I don't know. I haven't seen him pop up, and which is weird because he's such a memorable guy. You would think we'd notice him.
Yeah, we were talking about figures and stuff. When they're breaking into the safe, is he there? I don't even remember.
I think I just saw some generic kind of mob guys, like these guys who have got the brimmed hat and the kind of the striped pin suit.
Yeah, they look like Dick Tracy henchmen.
Yeah,
which is on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's such a cool look, especially. When did the Dick Tracy movie come out? It was not too long after this, was it?
Yeah, it's like 92, 93, maybe even a little before that, yeah.
So that was probably...
heavily influenced by this, had a lot to do with why that came out.
Oh, yeah.
We tried a lot of pulp stuff right after this.
Yeah, Phantom's not long after this, is it? Shadow, maybe?
That's mid-90s. Of course, these are all things we'll bring up again when we do the influence commentary.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I don't know why we haven't put Bob in comics, or if we haven't done it much.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Oh no, there he is. I forgot because he puts the gun on Gordon. Remember?
See, he was letting the pawns go first. He
has an actual strategy here. Yeah, nobody knew where he was, including us. No, I should have remembered that. Of course.
Yeah, and now it seems so obvious because obviously he would be the person that Jack trusts the most to keep Commissioner Gordon hostage in that moment.
Yeah, to have some leverage over Batman. Why did we forget that when this is our favorite character? I don't know, but
I feel like I'm personally failing Bob at this moment for forgetting such an important scene early.
I'm kind of reeling, thinking about having to relive his tragic death again. Like, we just had to watch it yesterday, and we're gonna have to watch him die again.
Yeah, I'm gonna need therapy after this, because I don't know if I can... 2 days of seeing my favorite character die in a row is just...
And then we have to do it 5 more times.
Man, that will be what drives me the craziest, is watching and having to relive that death over and over again. It's like a twisted Groundhog Day.
Last commentary we talked about how there's not a lot of blood in this movie, and I forgot how much is on Jack's face when he drops in the acid, and that must be more of what he needed the plastic surgery for. The injury that happens before he's dropped in the vat, which makes way more sense. Because I don't know if you noticed just like how gushed up he is on his cheeks. That must have been more the plastic surgery.
Yeah, and it really stands out in contrast to when everyone's getting shot at and there's no blood, that when something explodes in his face is all scarred up and bloody from something that you would think wouldn't be all that effective when everyone's getting shot and not bleeding out, or at least on screen bleeding out.
I think one of the reasons that everybody remembers Bob so much is because he has like no lines of dialogue.
I know, he's that character who doesn't speak often, but he's got such an intimidating presence that he doesn't need to.
Yeah, and like he's that guy not for the Joker to talk to, but to talk at.
Exactly. He's just kind of the audience's in for this world that the Joker.
Yeah, where it's like in a twisted way, it would be fun to hang out with that guy.
Yep. I don't know. I'd kind of like to be from the Joker's perspective of getting to see how Bob operates more so than be Bob seeing how the Joker operates.
Yeah, like what is Bob doing in the next room when Joker calls for him?
Right.
Yeah, does he play solitaire? Is he like? I want to think that he's reading like really heavy novels.
Oh, he's definitely a literature buff. He's a very well-read goon.
When you think, yeah.
I bet he's got a library that rivals Bruce's.
It's always the quiet ones.
He's like Rush. They're kind of nerdy, kind of soft-spoken, but they're intense and they're crazy.
I'm also having a hard time, because we're so focused on Bob right now, not imagining Bob, like, what he would be doing in scenes that he's not in. Like, I'm imagining in the scene with the giant table with Michael Keaton and Vicky on the other side, that he's just standing in a corner, just waiting for something to happen.
He'd be over Bruce's shoulder and grabs the salt and holds it up.
And just in case she starts throwing things, he gets hit first. He's hiding
a salt shaker,
Bruce.
for Bruce. You know, if this was Joker setting this place up, you know, it was Joker who had the date with Vicky Vale, it would probably be Bob who's setting this up and setting the table and pouring the wine and bringing them their soup and not passing her the salt.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't troll the Joker like that. I mean, like, in some ways, he is kind of a better assistant than Alfred is to Bruce.
No, I agree. He'd probably get a round table. Something that's
He certainly wouldn't put Joker in a room he's never been in before.
No, he wouldn't. He'd come through a whole new door.
And I would go this far. I think the Joker is in his normal outfit. I think his tie is better than Michael Keaton's tie in these scenes.
Oh, I agree. It looks so tacky.
It's tacky. It's not good. And even for 89, because, like, I want to have historical perspective, I still think that's kind of a bad tie. Now, Mulder in X-Files has a lot of bad ties like that.
Is that going to be the next thing from the April Fool's video that we do? Is the Mulder's and his crazy ties?
Yeah, Mulder's many mesmerizing ties. That was an idea that Eric and I had while we were watching X-Files one day, and then every time we would watch a subsequent episode, I couldn't stop pointing out the ties. And when I wrote that on the list of joke videos, or of joke series for the April Fool's Day video, I get a message back. Like, I sent Eric a list of them to ask him what he thought of some of those ideas. And he sends me a message back and he goes, "No, you're effing doing that." So, Mulder's many mesmerizing ties is still on the table.
Awesome. That and Eric Holden's Neighborhood are the two I'm personally most looking forward to after this.
That one sounds hard. Well, and also, Adam is insisting that we do Sequest Month. He is, and I think he's serious about it, too. I don't know what Bruce Wayne is drinking in that scene. Is it just a red wine?
Well, if we go by the comic canon of he never drinks actual alcohol, I'm thinking it is, like, grape juice.
Well, that's a good point, too, and he actually says that he hasn't had anything to drink later. So
yeah, like one drink and he's
drinking.
flying.
I'm flying, which is a line I've never loved. What's wrong with flying? And then I'm like, it's not a Superman movie. I don't.
Yeah,
that's foreshadowing the Batwing.
Yeah. So, do you think Bob the Goon is the guy who called this doctor, or do you think Jack did it himself?
No, absolutely. I think I think he goes to Bob for those kinds of things, where he's like, you know, who off the books can fix my face from those gashes that I got in that fight with Batman.
You know, I bet this is the same doctor who tried to heal up that scar that Bob's got.
Maybe so. Well, he did a really craptastic job, man. Like,
well, he did the best with what he had to work with.
Yeah, I mean, you see what he has to work with here.
Man.
I think you should close up shop if that's all you have, man. That's...
I agree. That doesn't... I wouldn't trust that doctor. Bob made a bad call there.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
One of his few mistakes, but it was costly.
Well, I mean, the biggest mistake he makes kind of cost him his own life.
Yeah.
Which is just to trust the Joker that far, I guess. But he's not as dumb as the other henchmen in Joker's employ, because Joker's going to shoot him, and then they're all just going to be like, yeah, we'll still work with the Joker, sure.
Well, at that point, I think I'd be scared to leave, because he may just shoot you then.
Yeah, but if you watch the expressions on their face, it doesn't even affect them. Like, the Joker has done something to those people where they're not even thinking like normal people anymore, because it doesn't even faze them. Like, the right hand, his number one guy gets shot, and they're just like, no problem. They're not worried at all.
Well, maybe they were all really jealous of Bob, and are now that he's gone are vying for his spot.
Would you want that spot? Would you, like... He just stole his balloons, and Bob died, okay? He stole my balloons!
Bob Gunn. I don't know. Bob left some big shoes to fill. I don't know if I'd be up for that role.
You know, Danny, I feel like we just watched this.
Yeah, it feels like it was just yesterday that we were watching this. I remember it like it was yesterday. So do you think Bob is waiting right outside that door just in case things go real south?
I think he's washing windows.
Well, he needs to go ahead and
or
wash
pretending
these windows.
to wash. That's true. They're filthy. Look at those windows. Wouldn't it be great if he was just on the outside behind in this like really intense scene where you know that the Joker is going to reveal himself and kill Jack Palance here? Not just because I've seen it 110 times, but because that's clearly what's about to happen. And then you shoot back to Jack Palance right after he walks out. That music starts, and you just see Bob in the background.
I would love if that was just a running gag, because every time we see him, he's in the background cleaning something.
Just pretending to clean something. Just really halfway cleaning something.
Bob's a kind of neat freak.
I meant to mention this earlier. When Grissom does the "you're my number one guy" thing and the lucky deck, and we know that he's trying to set up Jack to kill him, is that weirdly foreshadowing later on for Bob's death and the Joker turning on him? I mean, for entirely different reasons, just because the Joker is insane. But the Joker also, in a mocking way, does that "you're my number one guy" thing, and he's going to also turn on his number one guy.
No, I think it's a very intentional thing to bring the Bob character arc full circle. We see why. We've got to see... You
guys be the judge as to how much of this we're kidding, and how much... I will go on record to say I was making a serious statement just now.
No, and I'm being kind of facetious now, but I think it is seriously bring it full circle. So, we see Jack's journey as the number one guy, and then we'll see how he treats Bob as the number one guy. Kind of, I think it's intended to be more of how Jack or Joker would see it from the two sides of that coin. But for the sake of this, I think it's to bring the Bob character arc full circle.
That's why they did it. That's why Grissom's even in this movie, really. It's kind of surprising that Bruce has exercise equipment in that room so that he can sleep upside down or exercise, whichever of those things is happening, because I don't think he's ever been in that bedroom before.
Come to think of it, no, I haven't.
I haven't. So I don't think I've ever slept with a woman in this room before.
So you know how in Arrow they made the thing of everyone doing the salmon ladder?
The salmon ladder!
I bet Bob could do so much better than that upside down bat swinging thing than
Do you think Do you think that guy works out? Like, do you think Bob is secretly ripped?
Oh yeah, underneath all that, underneath the jacket and everything, I bet he's got like an 8-pack of abs, and he's just doing crunches in his spare time when he's not pretending to clean or not holding a gun from behind.
Well, that negates the Pepsi versus Coke question, because there's no way he's drinking either of those then.
Oh yeah, he's straight just water. Nothing else. Maybe a little bit of creatine in his water for some pre-workout stuff, but it's just water, man.
It's water and Brussels sprouts all day long. That's what well, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's getting some protein. Maybe he does like the Wolverine eat a chicken every day thing. Like,
oh yeah,
or like 3 chickens, 3 whole chickens.
He definitely meal preps. He's got the chicken breast, he's got the rice, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, all of that.
Man, they should publish a book about Bob's diet, like how to be just like Bob the Goon, except
Bob
for
the Goon,
getting yourself shot at the end thing.
Well, that's how they end it. Is don't be like me. Learn how to dodge. Learn how to duck.
Find someone else to hide behind and put your gun over their shoulder.
When someone says Bob gun, don't give them the gun.
This is a movie trope that I think we've pretty much lost by this point, partly because it's just so stereotypical. The woman that walks in a room and faints at something. We don't do that a lot anymore.
No, we don't, and I'm kind of glad we've gotten rid of it. Cause
me too. It's weird that even in 2014, though, the Ninja Turtles movie still did it with April. That was still a thing we'd done so much with Ninja Turtles, we kept it.
Yeah, and that feels more like a callback to Turtles more so than doing that trope to do that trope.
Yeah, sure.
So one thing I meant to bring up in the previous commentary, that one mob boss kind of looks like Albert Einstein, doesn't he?
A little bit.
The one with the real crazy hair.
I want to know how much of these guys' looks they got to have input in.
I bet they cast a bunch of people that looked as outrageous as they could, and there's not a whole lot of makeup and stuff done to them.
That's true, but, I mean, they have pretty wild suits.
Yeah, there's definitely some wardrobe stuff, but I bet these are all, like, mob-like character actors who get a lot of this kind of role. And there's one guy who looks a little bit like a Stan Lee.
Oh, that's true. Kind of, sort of, yeah. I'm also noticing how he does look like Stan Lee.
Man, Stan the Man got involved with the wrong crowd in this universe. This is the world where he doesn't start working for Timely Comics.
So I say that Bob enjoys everything he does. He's got this look on his face when he walks in this room. Like, I mean, he's trying to hold everything back, right? Because he's not going to want the Joker to see him question anything. He has a surprising number of facial expressions standing there watching what the Joker's doing. As soon as he walks in, he looks over and seems a little unsure about the Joker just filleting a man alive. And then every time the Joker looks back, he makes sure and smiles.
Yeah, he's got that smile, and then the second he turns around, he kind of lowers that smile to a frown a little bit.
Yeah, or at least just a look of kind of like mild. He's mildly disturbed.
Yeah, like, ooh, this is intense. Which makes sense because this is the first time we're seeing him with the Joker. This may be the first time he's seeing just how far this, Joker will go as compared to where Jack would go.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, and that's a question. Has he seen him with the makeup yet?
He's his number one guy, so I would assume he has.
Yeah, I would assume that too. But it's possible that around his goons he's even... Well, no, maybe not, because he immediately starts to wipe the flesh stuff away. He doesn't like wearing it.
Yeah, it was definitely there for more to not throw the people that were already in the room off as much.
Well, he wants them to think that he's Jack Napier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to not tip them off to, his face looks a little different with the smile, but he's not so deformed.
They know he had an accident.
Yeah.
Or do they?
Well,
I think they would.
They'd assume he's... I don't know if they'd assume he's dead or not. I guess it would all depend on how much information they got from Grissom, wouldn't it? How often they would have been in conversation with Grissom, and then if Grissom would have told them of the plan.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's a newspaper. I mean, we'll get to look for it again. I can't remember if there's a newspaper that reports that he died.
I don't know. We do the spinning newspaper thing, and I don't remember if we did that after his death or if we just get the hand coming out of the.
Well, we'll watch for it again.
Acid.
I forget right off.
We've got 5 more tries.
Yeah, no, we can figure. By the end of this, we'll know everything there is to know about this movie.
we will be able to quote it.
I love how. Hopefully, that's the plan. That's the idea. That's the end game. Hopefully, or what was I going to say? Sorry. I think that that the Joker is hilariously self-indulgent and is kind of like acting out his own movie as if there was an audience. And when he does the "Bob, you're my number one guy" thing, Bob has no idea what he's talking about, and he's just like, "Yes, sir,"
okay, boss.
And then walks off. Like he either is proud of that title or just placating his boss. And that whole thing, again, is just so that the Joker can make fun of Grissom and kind of gloat in how he got rid of that guy.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot of what Joker is doing in this film is just very much just for his own laugh and for his own entertainment. Because I get the sense that a lot of the jokes he's telling in here, only he would find funny. That's obviously...
Yeah, again, the world revolves around me.
Yeah. And it's... you know, he's obviously thinking about it from his own mindset of going through it, going from the number one guy to crowning someone his number one guy. But he's definitely very self-aware of everything that's going on and kind of playing it up for at least his own enjoyment.
I am really hung up on this hotel thing now.
Yeah, it's none of the background. I guess some of those bricks look the same as what we saw before, but it doesn't feel like it's the same area at all. It feels so wide open, whereas what we see in the flashback it feels like you're kind of comic book accurate, like closed in alleyway.
It's as if somebody didn't get the memo that the opening scene wasn't Bruce's parents' murder because they're talking about going to a hotel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
It's really weird.
It's almost like he's following that same pathway that they're following.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot of different places to go because it's weirdly tiny, this Gotham.
It's a very close-knit community that Gotham is.
What is that brown jacket that girl is wearing?
I don't know, but normally when I watch this, I almost think, is she with the Joker gang? Because it kind of looks like their jacket just a different color. Yeah,
it really does, but I doubt very seriously if they've gotten children with them, and they don't do that anywhere else. I will also count this as a thing that's the first time I've noticed it. We should talk about Bob's camera fetish at some point, but
he's got a love for photography.
Up until this, and this concludes our discussion on Bob's camera fetish. Up until this viewing, I thought that little girl was a little boy. Up until this viewing.
Really? I just always saw the ponytail. I was like, oh, they got a...
I never noticed the ponytail until this... I have seen this movie on the big screen. I never noticed that.
It's never stuck out to me. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a girl right there.
The Hot Toys... Yeah, that's why it's obvious now that I'm looking at it. That Hot Toys Joker also, if memory serves, has that pen, which is really cool.
Oh, you're right.
With the feather.
Does. I forgot they did one of this like mime-esque looking Joker.
Yeah. Well, I guess they did two. At least two.
Yeah,
because I was thinking that the regular one just came with that pen, even though that's not... No, I think you're right. I think they also made that figure. That's cool. I wish they'd do a Hot Toys Bob the Goon.
Yeah, that would sell like hotcakes. Or Hot Toys.
I mean, they would make 10, and they would all sell.
You know, it would if they were staying true to the original line of toys that came out with this movie. They really should have put something like that.
On principle, I would spend the $300 to buy that figure. I really would.
Oh, I would too, especially if I'm trying to be a completist with my Bob the Goon collection.
Well, so you'd have to. You know, if you're going to have the entire collection. Now, I'm pretty sure I have that Bob trading card. I don't have anything with his signature. So if I were going to build a proper Bob the Goon collection, I would need a Tracy Walker autograph.
I wonder if he does Comic-Cons.
Surely. He is looking really creepy and odd there. I've never really looked at him that hard in the scene. This is one of the only scenes where we get him out of uniform.
He's wearing the turtleneck.
Yeah, because turtlenecks were really in then, man.
Oh, man. So that's 3 turtlenecks so far.
Yeah, 3 of the main characters in this movie, because Bob the Goon is, of course, a main character, are wearing black turtlenecks somewhere in this film. I want to see Alfred in a black turtleneck.
I just want to see the entire cast in a turtleneck, just every scene. They've just got... they never acknowledge it. It's just they've got a turtleneck on underneath whatever they're wearing. So, Batman...
Excuse me, I said Walker. His name is Tracy Walter.
Walter, okay.
He is 70 years old this year.
Really?
And he is... he's still active. He's still acting.
Good for him.
But yeah, I'm going to find out if I can, if he's been at any conventions.
Man, if he was a stage actor, how cool would it be to get him to do that Who Mourns Bob the Goon? That
would be really odd, wouldn't it? That would be a very strange meta thing to do.
It would be. It'd be cool to have him play the therapist and be like, no,
you're absolutely right. It would be way cooler if he wasn't actually playing the lead character, probably.
No, unless you wanted to do kind of that, like, beware. I almost said, Grey Ghost from Batman the Animated Series type of thing, where he's the actor who had the one big hit and he's trying to cling to it a little bit.
I'm not immediately finding anything on whether or not he's been at a convention.
Oh,
I would go to a con just for Tracy Waltonville.
I would too. That'd be such a cool piece to add to any kind of Batman-themed collection.
Especially just to tell him that we did an entire commentary on his character.
Oh, man. I might download the video for this commentary, put it on a DVD, create, like, a DVD like cover and everything for it, and have him go sign the DVD of the commentary.
Did you ever notice the dodecahedron Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was going to bring it up in the last commentary we did. But
he was like, yeah, we got time.
I bet that's Bob's. I bet he, in his spare time when he's not reading or pretending to clean stuff,
I'm telling you, he's a closet intellectual.
He is a man of culture. He is a man of fine tastes. I bet if you asked him to pick out a nice wine, he would be your go-to to find out.
He likes the finer things.
He does, and he's also, from what we've seen, a great photographer. I bet that if he went to Corto Maltese to take pictures, they would be just as good as Vicky Vale's.
Probably so, yeah. I like the idea that he secretly wishes that he had a photography career, and maybe he's excited about Joker going, going after Vicky and maybe popping off Knox, just because these are photographers. And I guess Knox isn't a photographer, is he? He's a reporter.
Yeah, I think Knox is just a straight up reporter, because that's why they kind of pair off together. As he writes the story, she does the imagery.
One Halloween, I dressed up as the Joker from this movie, and I rented a pretty spot-on replica of this costume. And a friend of mine who's a tall, kind of gruff-looking guy was wearing a black trench coat that night, and we went out to dinner, and I called him Bob the entire time.
Did he catch what the reference was?
Oh, yeah, and he loved it. And periodically I would just be like, and you're my number one guy, and he'd be like, yes, sir. And it was the best.
Oh, man.
I wish I could have gotten him the patch on his jacket.
We kind of glanced over it, but when he's putting on those sunglasses and that kind of like straight back thing, how he's standing very rigidly, it's so cool. It's such a cool way to put your glasses on.
Yeah, it's really over the top.
Yes, and I like to think that he's putting on a performance to match how over the top.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, was he doing that kind of stuff before the Joker or not?
No, I think he's kind of a social chameleon. He can blend into whatever environment he's in, and he knows how to fit whatever the mood is, whatever the occasion is.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Because we see that he cuts loose when we get to the Flugelheim, and he's painting stuff up, and I think he's the one who does the handprints.
Yeah, the Joker kind of gives his men, a carte blanche to go wild and do whatever they feel like doing it at the time, and they get too relaxed, and they never know when they might be the next person he pops off. So that's how they pay for that. At least Bob, I don't think we really see him kill any of his other henchmen. Isn't that weird?
No, sadly it feels like Bob becomes the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, just because he's standing there right then.
Yeah, if it had been Lawrence, he would have done the exact same thing, but Bob had the misfortune of being his number one guy at that one spot, and boom, now we're without the greatest character to ever grace the Batman mythos, Bob the Goon.
Yeah, and he's one of the only characters with a name that dies in this movie. I mean, the Joker kills a bunch of people. Like, a lot of people die in this movie.
And then Grissom.
That's true. Okay, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. We lose a lot of people early.
Yeah, it's later on as the thing goes on that it's kind of the no names, kind of the extras or the cameos.
Yeah, this movie has a massive body count.
Yeah. Especially at Axis Chemicals when Batman blows the place up. And thankfully, Bob was not there at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because as sad as it is that he goes, it's kind of a great scene. Like, he gets a great death scene.
Yeah, it's very memorable. I think that and the Eckhart one are the more memorable deaths at the hands of the Joker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack before that. And think about the future is a really great line to kill someone with.
Yeah,
I love that a lot. Like, he's like, because he says earlier, because that's him getting his comeuppance. Like, you ain't got no future, Jack. He kills him. Think about the future.
Yeah, and obviously he does the same with the number one guy line that we keep going back to.
Yeah,
Jack.
Well, he remembers
Joker,
everything, doesn't he?
He loves his callbacks. He is a man of bringing it back full circle.
It's almost as if he read the script.
You know, I think he might have.
You think so? Yeah?
Yeah. I think Jack
you think it's just his world and everybody else is living in it, and he read the script because he wrote the script? I think maybe, I don't know why he had himself get killed at the end, but he's the Joker. He's unpredictable. He's crazy.
Well, what's more fun than a great death?
That's true.
That's the ultimate punchline.
It's unpredictable. I mean, you read War of Jokes and Riddles. Like, it has to be unpredictable. You have to not see the punchline coming.
Exactly.
Now, after you've seen every superhero movie ever, you do see that coming because he's the bad guy, so he has to die.
Yeah, and if this was a Marvel movie, we would have expected it the second he showed up on screen.
That's true. Now, to be fair, that wasn't necessarily a trope in superhero movies yet, because we hadn't had a lot of superhero movies, but it was a trope in action movies. The bad guy tends to die.
Oh, yeah. And that was kind of me ragging on Marvel for a second there, but that's definitely not something they're the only ones who ever do.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's kind of just a movie trend. Like what you were saying with action movies, that just kind of seems to be what we do with the villain of any kind of a piece. We kill him off.
Daddy's going to make some art, darling. Sorry, I'm rehearsing although that's probably your part. Or are we still talking about having one person doing both the Joker and Batman? We're still talking about that.
Yeah, I think the hardest fight is going to be to figure out who gets to do the Bob the Goon lines.
That's true. Well, I think if I end up having to play both Batman and the Joker, it is only fair that you get to play Bob and any other character you want to play.
Perfect. As long as I get to be Bob and Vicky.
I mean, as Bob, you really only get, you get slightly more lines of dialogue than, Darth Maul, I think.
Oh. I get to say, yes, sir. And I think that's it.
No, because he also says, she's the reporter that's been working with Noggs.
Oh, that's right.
He has a line or two here and there. And he gets to laugh and stuff. It's hard to stay inside the lines.
I'm going to have to get a pair of sunglasses for that one. When I do the yes sir line, I'm going to have to put the sunglasses on.
I just wonder if, I should save this for the music commentary, but I was wondering if the song Vicky Waiting by Prince was inspired by this scene where, she's waiting.
There's actually a deleted scene where we see that she's working as a waitress, and that's what that song was for.
Wait, you're saying she has to pull out a second job so she can afford that apartment?
Yeah, did you see the size of that apartment?
Yes, I did. It's enormous. She's got a lot of space. It's impractical space. She can't do anything with it, but...
It is not rent controlled. That rent goes up whenever the lease is up and she's got to renew. So she's got to keep more income coming than just those photos from Corto Maltese.
We're about to get to see Bob have a really fun day before he tragically gets gunned down with his own gun.
We get to see that Bob's also an artist in his own right. We get to see his artistic take on Joker's concept of homicidal art.
Yeah, see, look, that guy's got the paintbrush in his mouth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I just like that Bob is taking notes in this scene.
Is he taking notes? Oh, he is! That's hilarious. Is he? What is he doing? Like writing down all the paintings that they're defacing?
Well, yeah, like he's an art connoisseur. He's trying to. They're not defacing it; they're making it better.
Well, right. But yeah. If he's making notes for the Joker, I'm wondering what the Joker is asking him to write down.
Yeah, I have never thought about why you would be taking notes in this instance.
No, and what exactly? Because like he's not looking at what the paintings are called or anything.
No, he's just scribbling stuff down.
Yeah, so we're talking about how much fun he's having, but I don't think he actually does any of the art. I think he's just writing stuff down on a pad of paper.
Huh. He's more the analytic guy than the artist that I pegged him for.
Or he's just sadly being told to do that, but he is dancing. I guess he's having fun dancing.
Yeah, what is he trying to keep note of? I love those dance.
I have no idea. And he's not even looking at the pad. He never writes anything down. He just pretends like he does.
Well, now he's putting the notepad up, so he's done writing stuff down.
He's got it all written down. But he is the one that's about to try to take out that painting that Joker likes. But so he didn't get to do anything.
No,
that was the one thing he was going to do, and the Joker either really did just like that painting or he's just messing with him.
He really likes to troll with Bob. I think
but again, Bob's so loyal. He never does that to the Joker. He doesn't pull an Alfred.
No, I'm starting to think him gunning down Bob with his own gun might have been premeditated.
Like he was planning that all along.
Yeah, he was just waiting for that one moment where he could say, "Bob, gun," and then boom.
You know what it might have been? Bob. He might be anticipating Bob doing what he did to Grissom to him.
Oh my, you're right, because they're about to go somewhere up high, kind of like what he was about to.
Oh, that's true too. But like he might just periodically do that to all of his henchmen. You know, like just every so often, the one who's the right hand man he's got to take out before it even occurs to him to try to go against his boss.
That's genius planning on the part of Joker.
And that's the fun thing about the Joker. Sometimes is you can never tell. With this version in places, but of course the animated series is the Joker is one of the bigger ones that has this, where he, in the moment, might just be being reactionary and crazy, or he might actually have like a big strategy.
Yeah, like you'll get those breaks of like moments of sanity that feel like that's very well thought out and that's very calculated.
But you're not actually sure if it's calculated or if he's, as, irrational as he's acting.
Right. Does he really look like a guy who's got a plan?
Yeah. He does look like he's joking, though. He does.
Yeah,
he certainly looks like he's joking. Right. Mm-hmm. I really like how Nicholson acts through that makeup.
Oh, I know. Being able to get so much expression out of just lowering his eyebrows or, the top half of his face when he's got so much restriction in his mouth. And this is another point to bring up in a non-Bob related one, but just as in the back cowl, Michael Keaton doesn't have much mobility with his neck, and he's still able to get so much emotion out, through how he moves his body or how his eyes look. Jack Nicholson has the same thing where he can't really move his mouth a whole lot because of the smile, but he still gets so much expression out of just his eyes.
Yeah, it's impressive. And I think the permanent grin thing is kind of inspired, because that's not always what we do in the comics.
Or it's not really what we do with the movies afterwards. I mean, we do the scars for Ledger, and then we just do lipstick for Leto.
Bob's job is way more interesting now than it used to be, though.
It is. Is he still holding that cane for Joker in the background? Because unfortunately, we're not really getting to see the main character in all of his glory.
No, he gets hidden a lot.
He's like the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. He's the one who's really pulling all these strings.
Okay, well then he looks like a real idiot when he gets shot at the end. I'm just saying.
Well, the curtain obviously isn't bulletproof.
Oh. Wow. I don't really know what Bob was doing there. Did you notice that? He just, like, kind of runs around the Joker.
Well, he's probably trying to get in position behind him so he can point the gun at Batman.
Yeah, that's probably right. He looks like he's trying to figure out which direction those things are going to shoot out.
Yeah, which is smart because as we got to see, it actually shot out from 2 different directions. So he was smart trying to get out of the way of one of those things because that could have, like, shot right through his collarbone or something and really permanently injured him.
But he was going to make sure and get behind his boss, so that just happened to. Yeah, okay, we need to watch the cane and see when the Joker gets it back, because at this point, they're keeping track of continuity enough that he still got it. Bob does.
Yeah, he's got the cane and that kind of machete type of thing that he was going to use for the painting.
You know, the cane also doesn't stay in Joker's hand real well with that action figure. Just all the both of the props with that figure are pretty bad.
Yeah, Kenner was not great about getting the accessories to fit with whatever their toy was.
And Bob's gun doesn't stay in his hand real well. It's just begging to be shot at him from someone else's hand.
Well, yeah. Why does he need to hold it when
he's just going to die anyway?
That's what you should do, is get one of those Joker figures and see if the gun for the Bob action figure fits
the
better
Joker
with Joker's.
I mean, I think the Joker also has a gun. I don't think it's the big long gun, but I think he also gets a gun. Maybe not, though. Maybe it is just the cane. You know, Joker with a cane is not a thing you see much anymore.
I know, it's weird because you'd think that would be an easy accessory to put him with because it kind of fits that motif so well. Like,
well, yeah, the court jester. The court jester always has a cane. And it's weird that we've gotten away from that so much, because you can say, well, it's sort of outdated and outmoded. Yeah, but so are clowns in general. And like it gives him a prop. You know, it gives him something to spin around and hit people with. And like, he should always have some kind of a weapon, because the Joker's not really a fighter.
Yeah, I guess we've kind of replaced it with the crowbar.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. I guess we kind of have. Yeah. But when I was a kid, I always associated the Joker with a cane. That shows you how old I am. But, like he was always, like, Neil Adams always drew him that way. Like, the classic Joker pictures I remember from when I was a kid always have him with a cane.
No, that's actually the Joker I always kind of think of, is one who's got that cane and one who's got, like, the top hat and kind of, not top hat, but the wide-brimmed hat, and is kind of twirling the cane with it just to really drive home a kind of theatrical nature to him, because it's such a cane is something that you can do so much with. You can twirl it around, or you can point at something with it. It fits, obviously the gesture idea so well, but it fits Joker specifically so well. And I wish we were...
even think he had it much in the animated series, did he?
I think one of the original character model sheets has him with the cane, but I don't see him with the cane much in the actual show.
I am not totally clear on what color the Joker jackets actually are, because of the way we're lighting them. Like, are they blue? Are they purple?
I think they're purple, because I think when we see all the mimes and it's supposed to be a little bit brighter, they look more purple. Which would make sense with everything. All the cars have that purple. Joker's obviously got the purple. So
because Bob is the Joker's right-hand man, this big fight here with this guy with the swords was supposed to be Bob.
Really?
And they shot it, and it didn't work well. For whatever reason, they didn't like how it came out, so they replaced him with this guy with the swords, which is good, because this is one of the more memorable fight scenes, and everybody laughs at this. But we're only halfway through. You wouldn't want Batman beating Bob so easily now. You want to keep that air of mystery around Bob. Well, I guess, except I like that. I think that's really funny too, knowing that Bob was about to go up against him, and then he chickens out and drops his knife and runs because they shot a scene where they fight, and the producers didn't like it. So that's really funny. I like that he gets something that he doesn't just disappear. I mean, they were really smart. Like, Burton was really smart to do some coverage with him.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had the cane. He dropped the knife, but he didn't see
good call.
With the
So
cane.
did he? And he couldn't have handed it off to the Joker because the Joker's not around here.
No, maybe he held on to that knowing how much the Joker loves having that cane.
He might have just put it in the van or something.
Or it's retractable, kind of like that gun, and it's
a retractable cane. Oh, last commentary, did you finally notice it? We didn't talk about it. When the gun, when it retracts?
Yeah.
How did I get through dozens and dozens of viewings and I never noticed that?
It's one of those things where you don't stop to think to look for it unless you're actively thinking about it at the time.
Yeah.
So
that must be
it. I haven't seen the film as much as you have, but I've missed it, almost every time I've seen the movie.
By the end of this week, it's going to feel like you did.
My goal is to eventually see this movie 89 times. And once I hit 89, never watching it again.
That's it. Never again. But yeah, the Bob fight that didn't make the movie is there's a trading card that is a shot from it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the trading? Oh, that's cool.
He might have more than one trading card. I mean, I said there's only 2 Bob things. I don't know how many trading cards he actually has. I thought there was just the one, but there's probably more.
Can you imagine if they've got like Turtleneck Bob the Goon and Tactical Bob the Goon and Pretending to Wax a Car Bob the Goon and Photography Bob the Goon?
I want those all to be variant action figures. What are you talking about? The one where he's pretending to clean a car and just has like a rag in it?
You know how some cards will have like the game worn jersey, like a little cut off piece of that? It should have part of the rag cut off and put on the
You know how a
card.
Normal car
a normal person gets up and they walk downstairs and they actually wax their car. Well, Bob the Goon just pretends to wax the car. So do you think Bob has a Bob cave?
I want you to design that, Danny. I want what would go in the Bob cave?
The rag that he was pretending to wax the car with.
Just
the camera.
Like a giant one.
The painting that he was going to cut up, but Joker said
yes, the painting is there. This is the gun that will eventually kill me.
Instead of having the giant penny and the dinosaur, he's got the gun that eventually kills him.
This is the jacket I was wearing when I was working for Jack Napier, and this is the Joker jacket that I wear now. This is the cane that I never gave the Joker back. He had to replace it with a different cane. I just wanted a memento.
He's got a vault kind of like Batman's, and inside is just that Joker jacket.
The Bob Cave is my new favorite thing.
I'm designing a t-shirt for that.
Oh man, the Bob Cave. We need to make some Bob the Goon shirts.
Oh man, that'd be great. Especially if we could find a con he's going to and get him to sign it. That would be so cool.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you made like a shirt for every like variant Bob figure you wish there was, with like all the different Bobs that we just talked about with the like turtleneck Bob, and then you made like the action figure case like variant covers you get on comics, and you put them in it, and then you write like on the bottom of the action figure card like turtleneck Bob, and then you put that on a t-shirt.
I was just thinking those same like those Marvel like action figure variant covers, Yeah, the variant covers that look like they're supposed to be action figures. I love those so much. I want to design a bunch of those around Bob, with just different types of Bob.
That would be the best. Bob. And I'm also thinking the Bob Cave would have a giant library of like really sophisticated books.
It would have that Rubik's Cube.
It
completed.
Would. Yeah.
It would. There'd probably be a lot of books on literature. There'd be. What else would be in there?
Well, I mean, I wish I knew more about Bob the Goon, but unfortunately, the one movie he's in.
We'll have to go and watch that play to see if we can gather more about Bob the Goon.
Well, that's true, because if he thinks he's Bob the Goon, he's probably gonna... We at least can, like, glean some things from what the guy who thinks he's Bob the Goon thinks about Bob the Goon.
Exactly. We could, maybe...
The closest you'd ever get. We have to see that play.
What if there's an actual Bob cave in there? In that movie?
They did the Bob cave?
Yes. That would be...
Wow.
Just the icing... I don't know. It would just be the icing.
I don't even want to think about what Bob does when he brings women back to his Bob cave.
Well, he doesn't steal their photos like Batman did with Vicky Vale.
No, he gives them photos.
Exactly. He's a photographer. He takes the photos and he gives them photos. Like Joker.
Oh, no, that's the other thing he would have. He would have a camera in his Bob cave, and he would have, like, all the photos that he's taken, like really artistic photos.
He's just... In his Bob cave, he's got a photo development lab.
Well, yes, of course. Right. Yeah, it is 1889. You would need a development lab. Wait a minute. Is that an urn in the background? Is there a dead person?
Is that an urn or is that a thermos? It looks like a tea kettle.
Oh,
there's
maybe.
A spout on it.
Maybe. I thought maybe Bruce Wayne's parents were back there.
No, that's too morbid.
In one urn.
He's only kept Thomas's ashes.
Yeah, you don't really usually see that with married couples. Martha was buried, but Thomas was cremated. It's really unusual. You know how a normal henchman...
Well, I was going to say, this Batman doesn't have the fascination with Martha, and why did you say that name? He doesn't care about saving Martha. It's just save Thomas. I wonder what age Bob was when he lost his parents. I'd have to. Well,
inevitably he must have. Yeah. What if Jack killed his parents?
Oh man, that's
you know, and then like the only person that he had to go with was the guy who murdered his parents.
Man, that's a really twisted kind of Stockholm Syndrome take on this character. That's a really tragic background.
Yeah, it really would be. Well, I see Bob as a very tragic character.
Oh, well, definitely. He dies kind of unceremoniously.
I just wanted you to end it with that. Well, of course he's tragic. He's dead.
You know how a normal person doesn't get shot?
With his own gun by his boss after a man steals his balloons? Not normal! Generally speaking, that does not happen.
And then trying to explain that to Vicky, and she's just like, "No,
no, I don't know what you're talking about." You think Bob was ever married?
He doesn't strike me as the type of guy who just settled down. He doesn't strike me as a one-woman kind of guy.
I don't think so either.
I think if Alicia had stuck around long enough and hadn't met an untimely end, she would have eventually ended up with Bob.
You know, probably so. Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, and you could have had a love triangle where Jack kept the girl that he was cheating on Grissom with, and then she started sleeping with Bob. But that would be really kind of obvious and on the nose. But like you have that whole cycle happen again, and then that's why he grabs the gun and shoots him.
That could be it. I kind of think that Bob, because of his love of photography, kind of has a thing for Vicky Vale, because they've got that in common.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're kind of like star-crossed lovers. They're never quite going to be together, and they probably should be.
It's just really unfortunate that we don't have any more dialogue from Bob to go on to go from beyond. She's the reporter that's been working with Knox.
He's secretly been a huge fan of her work, going back way before the Corto Maltese stuff, and has always been a fan of her photography, and has just been a lover from afar. And now that the Joker is fascinated with her too, he finally sees this as his chance to finally get close to Vicky Vale.
Okay, there's some creepy stuff in her apartment. What is that doll?
Yeah,
what is that doll?
I was just thinking the same thing. There are creepy dolls that are creepy just because they look weird. That was like beyond creepy. That was like purposely made to look as creepy as it could.
That was the Toy Story doll head on spindly legs creepy and was completely intact.
Right? That's exactly what it looked like. If only it had little stray pieces of hair where it had looked like it had a full head of hair at one point and it all just got pulled out.
I think you're right, though. I think Bob might be in love with Vicky, because do you notice how excited he was when he came in with that big present? It's like, I brought you a gift!
He's the one who brought her the flowers, not Joker.
Well, I don't know. The Joker's behavior might be getting to him a little bit, because they didn't have to be dead flowers, nor did it have to be a hand that came up and made her faint.
Yeah, I think he's catching Joker's...
Oh, wow, we did that trope twice in this movie, didn't we?
Which one?
The girl that faints?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we do that a lot.
Man, he's quick with the draw.
Yes, he is.
They do...
He's not...
a lot of similarities with Vicky and Alicia.
Yeah?
As far as how they're... they both faint. They're both the very attractive blonde.
The Joker's...
and Bob have
enamored with both of them. Right. Yeah. Now, I actually feel kind of dumb for not knowing this. Is Alicia the same girl that he cheated on Grissom with?
I think so.
Right?
It should be, unless there is a third blonde with teased hair. And
yeah, I think that's the same. She's just playing with the popcorn, and I think that's weird.
Well, you wouldn't eat it if it's been sitting there all that time.
I'm not saying she should eat it. It's just weird that she's got her hand all in it. Like...
She does not want anyone else to have that popcorn.
It's just nervous fidgeting. Like, I gotta do something with my hands. I guess I'll get this gross, salty popcorn all over my fingers.
Yeah, Bob pretends to wax a car. She pretends to fidget with some popcorn.
Okay, so wait, Bob. Wait a minute, Bob. We have time to talk about this. This is the Bob commentary. So you pulled out your gun, and then while he was talking, you put it back away, only to then whip it out again. Okay.
Yeah, well, he's not one to brandish a gun, unneededly. Once he's assessed the situation and realizes he may not need the gun.
It's just weird because we didn't see him put it back in his pocket. I thought he was holding it out the whole time, but then we see him whip it out again.
Yeah, he's quick draw McBob.
Something else that I never picked up on, that I read earlier when I was reading up on Bob in preparation for this commentary about Bob, is that the number of playing cards on the shoulders of the goons is a ranking system.
Really?
And the more cards you have, the higher up you are, and he has the most possible cards.
That's interesting. I always just thought it was a patch. You got the 4 J's, the 4
Jacks. Yeah, it is, but it's like Star Trek. It's a rank system. It's pips.
That's a really cool attention to detail.
Yeah, that's really cool. I never knew that.
See, then you'd have to collect multiple jackets so you've got every rank.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those jackets. They're so cool.
I would too. I looked them up. There are a couple bootleg ones, nothing official release. Which you
are they decent?
I didn't look that closely at them. From where they were being sold, like Alibaba and websites like that. I was kind of leery of the quality, so I didn't buy them. Obviously,
sure, yeah.
But I should have in preparation for the Bob commentary.
Well, luckily we're not on camera, so
true. It'll
no one would ever know. You could even say you were wearing it, but then people would want proof.
Yeah, it's just one more thing I'm going to have to add to my Bob collection.
One thing that's the thing, is that a lot of the cool things that you would want would be custom jobs.
Yeah. I'd like to get those really bad Halloween masks? I'd love to get a Bob the Goon one.
That would be an amazing horror film where you do the Michael Myers thing, but instead of a Shatner mask, it's a Bob the Goon mask.
That would be great. I'd love that so much, especially if it's got the scar across the side of his face.
Yeah,
just find ways to.
That'd be great. And then there's an alternate one that has sunglasses.
Oh my god.
On the mask. So one thing that I can promise everybody, because we're not revealing what all topics we're doing this week for all of the 89 commentaries, we will not go as far as to do the Lawrence commentary.
Much to my chagrin, I really wanted to do that one.
Danny's been begging me to do the Lawrence Boombox commentary, but we're not doing that. Now, we will do our best to broaden our minds, but we're not going to do the Lawrence commentary.
Yeah, if I had known we weren't going to do the Lawrence commentary, I might not have agreed to do this, because that's the one I wanted to do the most. Sorry, Bob, but
I'm sorry about that, man. I didn't realize you had your heart set that much on the Lawrence commentary.
I was, and hearing that we're not going to do that breaks my heart almost as much as seeing Bob die is going to break my heart. You know, I bet
it
Bob's
hurts.
idea.
It hurts every time.
It does. I bet it was Bob's idea to do that side-swiping thing with the camera.
Yeah, it's a classy move.
It is. It doesn't make sense, but it looks nice.
It's pretty classy. It only makes sense to the people in the control booth. I also don't understand how Jack gets off saying I'm not a killer, because it's just really obvious all the people he killed. Or at this point, see, this is what I'm confused about. Is he pretending like he and the Joker are two different people? He's not, though, right? Because then he's going to throw all the money out and he's the Joker.
Well, right here he's talking about how he's taking his makeup off. So he's saying he is the Joker.
Right. So it never mattered that if he had a secret identity.
Never. I don't think he was ever really hiding who he was. I think this whole I took my makeup off thing is more just to taunt Batman than to actually like reveal his identity in any ways.
Yeah.
Because we never...
He's just luring him... Well, here's what's weird about it. Is he luring him into a trap? Like, why does he want Batman there? Have you ever thought about that?
You're right.
Like, why would he want Batman there?
I don't know.
He just wants to kill all the people that are there, and then he invites Batman, and then Batman's going to come make that harder for him.
Maybe he wants to catch Batman up in that and kill him at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he just... It didn't occur to him that he would show up in an airplane.
Yeah. Well, to his credit, I wouldn't have... You don't get any sight in the Batcave that there's a Batwing. You never get any impression that Batman is flying around in a Batwing.
What's the point of the super tiny monitors in the Batcave? I never noticed those. He's got these really tiny ones. They look like 3-inch screens. Look at those.
Yeah, and they're underneath some equipment that he would have to fidget with, so they seem really superfluous and like in really weird spots.
It's a strange setup. You know, when I was a kid, I couldn't imagine growing up and the equipment in the Batcave looking so super quaint and not futuristic or sophisticated. It's like all I wanted was this cave, and then I would have felt like I could do anything. And it's like the equipment I'm using right now is like 60 times more sophisticated than what we're looking at there.
I know,
it's
but
like, I have a VHS player, man. Like.
I'd still love to have that chair, because that looks like a really comfortable chair.
No, that chair is really cool. Now, I can't say the same thing about the animated series Batcave, because it's got that huge screen and that giant keyboard with no letters on it.
I would love to make a keyboard that is comically oversized keys with nothing
and functions and has nothing on it. You look at that and be like, I can't even tell if home row is the same, because... on a regular key, on a QWERTY keyboard, the keys are offset, but on that keyboard, sometimes, I mean, they keep changing it. Sometimes it's just like straight up and down. It's just like a grid.
Yeah, which is maybe he's really ahead of the time, and it's touchscreen, so it's different things. And what we're seeing is the interface of the different grids on it that he can hit, and we're just.
I never thought of that. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question. Are you ready for it? Is the guy who says, "Come on, Jack," behind him Bob the Goon?
Oh, it's got to be. That's such an important character. Who else would you trust but Bob?
Is that Bob? Is that guy Bob? Because we recast Jack.
It could be.
Couldn't
I
it?
Didn't get a.
There's not any.
I didn't get a.
There's not any real reason it couldn't be.
Well, there's no scar, but he could have gotten the scar.
He could get that later. This is early in their career.
Yeah.
The body type's not that different.
No, he's kind of got that same grizzled look on his face.
He's got the hat. It's not the same hat, but he's got a hat. That could be Bob.
I think it's supposed to be Bob.
Do you?
I think so. I think it might be.
Are you just saying that because we're doing a Bob commentary, or do you really think that might be Bob?
No, I think because Bob is his number one guy, and we've seen him throughout the whole thing, it would make sense for if in their head, in whoever's writing the screen, his head, that it would probably be the same guy.
I've never thought of that before. 2 commentaries in, we are still coming up with new stuff.
We'll have
it helps that we're focused on a very specific part of this movie.
We'll have to look through the credits to see if he's credited as anything.
Yeah, if he's like young Bob. His name's probably just Larry.
At that point, he was going by Bobby the Goon.
No, he was Robbie the Goon.
Robbie the Goon. It would be great if the Goon was his last name. And there's just a family of the Goons that live in Gotham City.
That sounds like a sitcom about henchmen. The Goons. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Here's Bob the Goon and his brother Larry the Goon.
So I don't know if you know this, but Bob and Larry are the names of characters in VeggieTales.
I know. No, it's true. It's Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber, and I didn't do that on purpose. That was not intentional at all.
It's like another famous Bob Ross says.
Bob Ross.
Happy little accidents.
So when Bruce is like, no, you got in, it's like, well, yeah, because Alfred showed her the Batcave, like...
Yeah, she did. Well, Bruce let her in.
He didn't say leave, I guess. He wasn't like, get out! Why won't you let me in? No, you got in. Because I didn't feel like yelling at you. This is how I get out of bed every morning.
You know, I bet Bob has that same look on his face when he puts his hat on in the morning and he looks up and...
In the Bob cave.
Exactly.
Does he have a whole vault for his hat?
I hope so. I hope it's...
hat vault?
I hope it's only got the one hat in it.
That's a trivia question for you. What part of... What entrance does the Batmobile take to get in the into Axis Chemicals? It's Bay 4.
Do you think Bob's got a Bobmobile?
It's just a purple van with Joker's insignia on the side of it. That's the Bobmobile. Wouldn't that be really funny if it's like... Because I'm sure Joker makes him drive that around, where in his head it's the Bob... I'm in my Bobmobile. It's a Joker van. No, it's my Bobmobile.
You just know that the plan, if he were to survive or outlive the Joker, would be to put decals over the Joker's face with Bob.
Yeah, he'd do exactly what the Penguin does to the Batmobile in '66. It's like, I'm going away in my Birdmobile.
Oh man, can you imagine it? Surely there's a character or a henchman named Bob in Batman '66.
Somewhere. I mean, well, I don't know, because a lot of the time they have, like, you know, goofy names that go along with the motif of whatever the villain is. But there probably is somewhere. I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of potential legs with this character.
No, I agree. I'm surprised, of all the, like, deep pulls we like to put in comics, especially nowadays, that there hasn't been anything with Bob the Goon. Maybe.
I feel like if... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Maybe in the Joker origin movie, they do something like that.
I feel like if anybody was going to do it, it would be Tom Waltz. It would be Tom King.
Yeah.
Because
he would...
King had... Look at Bob dancing.
He's having a great time.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's coming.
No, he's trusting Joker a little too much in this scene.
Yeah, he sure is. He's listening to Prince. But no, Tom King has that great homage to the surgery scene in War of Jokes and Riddles, and like he's gone back to this movie. He clearly likes this movie.
Oh, definitely. I'm surprised granted we've only really done Joker with more jokes and riddles so far. I'm really surprised there wasn't some kind of character in the background somewhere that looked like him. And maybe Tom King isn't the writer who's writing out every panel's detail, and he leaves a little bit of it up to the whatever artist he's working on for that issue or that arc. But that's something I would kind of like to find in there, just as a nice little Easter egg. Even if he's not named Bob the Goon, you just see someone who looks like
somewhere
Bob the
in
Goon.
some Batman comic at some point. I would really like that to happen, because we do it with Chief O'Hara all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, he got lots more screen time in 66 than Bob the Goon got in this, but everyone knows what you're talking about when you mention Bob the Goon if they've seen this movie. Like, everyone knows this character.
Can you imagine if Bob had gone down a different path and become Chief O'Bob?
Or whatever Bob's last name is supposed to be.
Yeah. Chief the Goon.
Yeah, Chief Hawkins. That just sounds like a cop, right? Like,
it does.
Chief Bob Hawkins.
Bob Hawkins works pretty well. It's close to another Bob. Bob Hastings. That's the voice of Alfred, or not Alfred,
of
Gordon, correct?
Yeah, Bob Hastings.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous Bobs.
That's true. Bob is a really popular name. Or was it one time? I wonder how many people are actually naming their kids Robert these days. I bet that's not as popular as it was.
I know 2 people around my age named Robert. So if that says anything.
Okay. Well, that's some really helpful anecdotal evidence. Thanks.
Oh, definitely. I'm the king of anecdotal evidence.
Yeah, I mean, we've written Bob's entire backstory based on almost nothing.
Well,
based on she's the photographer that's been working with us.
2 lines of dialogue, and we have crafted
Yes,
this entire
sir!
backstory. We gotta write a Bob the Goon comic book.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, we really should. You and I have been talking about what to do for a comic forever. Well, I will write the Bob the Goon comic.
I would love to draw that so much, especially if we get the origin for the scar. I'd love to do a big thing about why he's got this scar and what it means to him.
How Bob got his scar. That doesn't sound interesting, but we'll try.
It should be something real mundane, like he was shaving, and there was just some weird accident where he's just going and it...
But it should start him on his life of crime, like... He was just working for a Starbucks before that, and then he got himself shaving, and he was like, well, now I'm not ever going to be able to get the job, to get a job acting like I wanted to, so...
So you know how you've always got that thing about, do names influence the type of person we become?
Yes. Talk about that a lot.
We should do the thing where his last name is The Goon, and it
or
sets
just
him down
Goon?
a path. Yes.
Bobby.
His last name is...
he's Bobby Goon. He's Bobby Goon.
Okay, so that's some of the fakest looking prop money I've ever seen. It's just like
they just reached into a board game, pull that out.
It really does look like Monopoly money. There's no green to it. It doesn't look real. It feels like crumpled paper. It doesn't feel like it, obviously. I'm not feeling it, but it looks like it feels like it's just crumpled paper.
Well, you're clearly not feeling it. You flipped your sign red on that Monopoly money.
I'm not feeling it.
He's not feeling it. So,
Bob's got a bob wing?
It's not going to be...
It's just shaped like a bee.
It's just what?
Shaped like a bee.
That's not very aerodynamic. The wings are just like the size of the bees.
Yes. And one is bigger than the other because it's a capital B, so the...
I was just imagining a purple airplane with a Joker's face on the side of it.
With a sticker put over it.
It's my Bob plane!
Thanos has the Thanos copter, and Bob has
Yes!
the Bob copter.
And he writes his name on the back in pen. He just magic marker. And clearly the like. Do you remember the Batman Superman World's Finest movie where he's got like the big smile wing? He just writes his name on the back. Yeah, just Bob commandeers that and spray paints his name on the back of it.
Oh my god!
Got my Bob wing.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Bob is just full of one from the Joker. He just took them and wrote his name on them.
Bob's not afraid of hand-me-downs. He's a thrift shopper.
No, he's not. So we are like 2 minutes away from losing the protagonist of this commentary.
Are you emotionally prepared for this yet? Because I don't know if I am.
No, I'm trying to liven things up with like levity.
Yeah. Oh man.
Bob's got a look on his face like he's already in like an oh crap place.
Oh, he knows what's coming. He just lost the Joker's balloons.
If he knows what's coming, then he's really loyal for handing him his gun. He fell on his sword, if that's the case.
He fell on his overly sized retractable gun.
I don't think he uses... Oh, that's crazy if he used the retractable gun, like, retracted. Well, no, that would mean that Bob was carrying a retractable gun. This is one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. Why didn't somebody tell me he had one of those things?
Oh, and Bob still got the turtleneck on.
Yeah, Yes, he does. Underneath the... Yep, and he's dead. And he died off screen, too. He got shot and fell off screen. We will never see him again.
Okay, well, if he's off screen, that means he's not really dead, if we know anything about our comic book movies.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, that's... I mean, we were talking about the spinoff earlier that got a TV movie in 5 seasons. I mean, they dealt with that.
Yeah. It's about, like, Agent Coulson. Spoiler alert.
It kind of ticked me off that they recast him, though. I don't understand that.
Yeah, that feels kind of like a slap in the face. We grew so accustomed to this Bob, and then they just change it up like it's nothing. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, and like Walter's always a character actor. He never gets to star in anything. They make a Bob the Goon series, and Walter's not in it. That's ridiculous.
It was his big break, and they still didn't give it to him. It's terrible.
For some reason, his name is there as a producer, but he's not in it. I don't understand that.
In loving memory.
He's not dead!
He's not dead. No, that's the thing. He's not dead, but it's just in loving memory of Walter.
So, I don't have anything left to add, because Bob is dead. We got 20 minutes left of this movie, but there's no Bob left.
Well, in honor of Bob, Kevin Smith naming Silent Bob was actually... a reference to Bob the Goon.
That's right.
Which I think is just a touching tribute. You got the character who doesn't speak often, but when he speaks, it's really elegant and
it's a eulogy, really.
It is. I'm going to name my firstborn son Bob the Goon.
His middle name is the Goon.
No, his full first name is Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon, and then his middle name is like, I don't know, Larry or something.
No, my number one guy.
That is lengthy, my friend. Wow. I want to thank anybody who is still with us.
Yeah. Oh man, when people ask him, is Bob short for Robert? No, it's short for Bob the Goon.
It's short for, wait for it, Bob the Goon, my number one guy. Wait. Nixon.
He is not a crook. He's a goon.
Bob the Goon Nixon. Which, forgive me, but sounds redundant.
Thanks, man. And for those who maybe haven't noticed the gun retract, it's about to do so.
That's right. He's gonna pull it back in. I love the idea that Bob had the retractable gun. Joker shoots him with it retracted, puts it in his pants, pulls it out of his pants unretracted.
But brilliant. Why would he need Bob's gun if he already had one? It's got to be that gun.
Maybe you can't shoot it when it's retracted.
Probably not.
I would figure not.
No, I figured you'd have to have the barrel fully extended so the bullet doesn't jam or lodge somewhere.
I'm not a gun guy. I don't own a gun. If I for some reason ever decided I had to have one, it would need to be this one. It would need to be the Joker's retractable gun.
The gun that killed Bob, that's the one gun you want, really?
We don't know if that's the gun that did the deed. We don't know.
But
I'm still leaning toward that gun doesn't fire. It's like a Klingon warbird, okay? It's not gonna fire when it's retracted, when it's cloaked, okay? It's not gonna do that. Let's pull the whole thing out. Although he is holding her at gunpoint with a gun that I'm saying won't fire unless he pulls it out all the way. So maybe it does fire. Maybe they don't know.
Yeah, and it seems like it's in Joker's MO to taunt somebody or threaten somebody with a gun that he knows isn't going to fire.
Well, is that the same gun that does the bang flag?
I think so.
Or did he pull out is he still holding the retractable one, or did he pull out yet another gun?
I think it's the same gun, because I don't see any moment, where he puts that one aside or pulls another one out.
No, I don't think he did.
So something I haven't noticed or haven't discussed previously, when Batman knocks over all those pews, doves go flying, or what looks like doves because they look a little white. I wonder if that might have been a reference to Prince, or had When Doves Cry not come out at this time. I'm terrible.
I think it had. But you could also say Prince only got the job because Joker wears purple.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You know, if we ever make the Bob the Goon solo movie, we got to bring Prince back to do. Well,
wouldn't it be great if we could have done that? Yeah.
I would just like to bring Prince back in general, but if we could bring Prince back,
great if we could resurrect the man to work on a movie. Yeah, but that's not really possible. You know, we've talked about people we weren't sure if they were dead or not. That one I'm sure of. He passed away, unfortunately.
Much like our beloved Bob.
No, not anything like that.
Oh my god. I can't believe we made an entire commentary about Bob.
We're not done yet. We're not yet. We're close. We have almost made an entire commentary. But I mean, we've talked about some other things a little bit, but it always comes back to Bob.
Everything comes back to Bob. Bob is the meaning of life. Or at least in this universe.
Danny, I'm gonna look up the Bob the Goon figure and see how much it would cost to get you one.
Oh my god.
Since you don't have one, let's find out. We're gonna get Danny a Bob the Goon figure. We should do a giveaway. We should give away a Bob the Goon figure. I haven't done a giveaway in a long time. Wouldn't that be fun?
Whoever can come up with the best Bob the Goon backstory gets a Bob the Goon action figure.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. I'm not making that official yet, but I like that. We might do that. Bob the Goon has been looked up enough on eBay that it shows up in the auto-populate.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I'm looking it up the same
at
the same time. Oh, I'm seeing autographed photo.
Cool, I would like to get that. It doesn't look like those are very expensive or hard to get.
People don't know what they're missing out on.
Yeah, I'm not immediately seeing any in box. I'm seeing a lot of loose Bobs.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff signed by Tracy Walter, which is interesting. Which means he probably is doing some conventions or something.
He's got to be. He signed a lot of stuff, yeah. I see one for $50. I'll have to just keep watching, because I only see one on Mint on Card. We'll keep looking. We'll keep watching for it.
You know, if Joker hadn't killed Bob before this and had just sent him up here to the top of this church, Bob probably would have stood a much better chance against Batman than that guy did.
You think so? Because when he saw Batman take out a guy in a somewhat similar fashion, he kind of ran away with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, it was self-preservation, though. He knew when to fight. This is when it really counts. This is when it's, It's for all the marbles. He's got to go all in.
Yeah, could we go, is this going too far? Could we say that the Joker might have lost because he was stupid enough to get rid of his loyal right-hand man and he just used these incompetents?
I think so. You're going to rely on your number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 guy when you could have relied on your number 1 guy.
But I want to see that scene, and you are my number 5 guy. And the guy's like, thanks, man.
And you just see 4 bodies laying on the ground. Like he's just shot.
Oh, this is why I only have 1 playing card on my sleeve. Okay, so see, that's going to be the bang flag. I don't know if that's the same gun. That gun does everything. Like, so wouldn't that be amazing?
It's a Swiss
though,
Army gun.
If he wouldn't that be amazing though if he shot down the Batwing with the same gun that retracts and then later has a bang flag in it? How does he even do that?
I don't know.
That's amazing.
That goes beyond comic book logic. Because we don't see him like load the bang flag into it like you would normally expect something like like that to operate like.
See, this guy that we were making fun of before because he wears his sunglasses at night, he's got 1 playing card, so he must be a pawn. I would love Batman to pick up on the playing card motif and to like relax more when he fights people with fewer playing cards. Like, yeah, that guy's not going to be any kind of a challenge.
He's gotten the toughest fight out of the lowest playing card guy.
That's just because he's big.
True.
He's a big guy.
What if those sunglasses aren't sunglasses, but like night vision glasses?
Oh man, he's got like a Jurassic Park thing going on.
Yeah, and he's got a leg up on Batman, who uses being in all black in a dark, not lit at all, bell tower.
That's true. Yeah, that means
he
sees Batman like he's looking through a Virtual Boy.
So that's why he was able to put up such a good fight.
See, sure. Yeah, that would really give you a leg up. I can only see the world in red and black.
Well, there's the episode of Batman the Animated Series where Batman can only see in red and black, and he seems to
I made the same joke in that, too, didn't I? That Batman was looking out of the world out of a Virtual Boy. I need some new material.
I'm pretty sure that's in there, honestly.
No, I said that. I know for sure I said that. Danny and I are going to start Bat Chat again soon. We're excited about that.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about.
And one of the reasons I'm excited, and Dan's News is hopefully coming back with us too, but what I'm really excited about with that, Danny, is doing commentaries on different things.
That are still Batman related.
It's still Batman, but we're going to do... It's going to be really novel. We're going to do a commentary on an episode, and then the next time you see us, we'll do a commentary on a different episode.
Do you think anyone's ever thought to do a commentary on multiple different things instead of doing the exact same thing time and time again?
You know, the more we do this, I'm going to forget what that's like, I think. Like, the next time we do a commentary, it's going to be amazing, because I'm going to be like, oh, we're watching a different movie. And I imagine a lot more things will come to my head to say, because... I'll be used to being really relaxed and not throwing everything out, and then I'll be like, oh my god, I better hurry up and chuck everything coming in my head out about this movie, because I may never get another chance.
Or it'll just be a Pavlovian response, and you start talking about this movie anytime you start doing a commentary.
I feel like, Bob the Goon is not in this film. What are you talking about, Cap?
And now for the Bob the Goon Homecoming commentary.
I really thought you were going to say the Bob the Goon home game.
Who would be the visitor team?
Like you're on a game show, and it's the Bob the Goon game show, and you get the home game.
Okay.
And you get a lifetime supply of Rice Roti, the San Francisco treat. And Bob the Goon, the home game. See if you can get to the finish line without being shot with your own gun.
It's like the game of life.
The game of Bob's life.
Oh my god.
Well, Danny, I hate to say it, but you may be drawing Bob the Goon for the rest of yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to start really brainstorming the Bob the Goon one. And naturally, it has to be a one-shot, right? Like,
yeah, it definitely... One all-incomprehensive story about the life of Bob.
I think that book is called My Number One Guy.
Oh, definitely.
I think that's pretty good. Or The Chronicles of Bobby Goon.
Bob the Goon, or How I Became the Number One Guy.
How I Got Shot in the Face with My Own Gun. The musical.
The off Broadway musical.
We did one performance in my Batcave and posted it on YouTube. That's about as off Broadway as it gets.
You should have done it would have had more success if you did it in the Bob Cave.
That's true, but we don't have enough money to build it.
Yeah. Which is why I think Hollywood is still so hesitant about going forward with the Bob spinoff, is because of how ridiculously expensive it would be to make all the props for it.
Well, and the first one almost didn't get renewed every season. They had a really hard time keeping that on. No, the Bob the Goon off Broadway play only even gets to be considered that off Broadway because we invite like a couple of people over to watch it live. You know, it's like getting married. Like, you need a witness.
If no one saw your Bob the Goon off Broadway play, did it really ever happen?
Yeah, exactly. You know, if Bob the Goon gets shot with his own gun in the forest and no one's around to hear it,
instead of saying is the Pope Catholic, I'm going to say is Bob the Goon.
It's Bob, the Goon. Well,
no one is going to ever know what I'm talking about.
He's
when
been
I say
dead
that from
15
now on.
minutes, but we are still talking about him, and that is remarkable. I don't want to pat myself on the back or nothing, but we have managed to get an entire commentary almost exclusively about Bob the Goon. I feel good about that.
I do too. I was worried that we weren't going to be able to keep that going.
I want a t-shirt that's like, I survived the Bob the Goon commentary.
Okay, I'm putting those together.
You know what I bought today?
What?
Surprisingly, so I just got done building the giant 3,000-piece Mega Bloks Ninja Turtles Technodrome.
Nice.
And
I saw the picture.
Yeah, and there was I just did that a few days ago. I finished it, and there's a t-shirt on one of the fan t-shirt sites that came up today that's got a picture of the Technodrome, and it says, I survived the Technodrome.
Did you get it?
I had to get that because of the timing. It's amazing. Because I did. I'm the only person that bought that, probably, because I physically survived the Technodrome. And it sat on my dining room table for like 6 months. My wife and I just could not get to it, and we didn't think it would ever get done. So we really did. We survived the Technodrome.
Nice. I had a Star Wars puzzle that I was working on around Christmas time that was taking up our entire dining room table.
Yeah.
Not the entire thing, but a big portion of it, and I finally caved because I had the border of it finished and was piecing it together like part by part, section by section, and I finally just gave up because it had sat there for like 2 weeks, and I was like, I'm never going to get back to this. All the pieces that I had organized are no longer organized.
But if Bob the Goon should rise again to cast a shadow on the heart of the city, call me. I gave you the anti-Bob signal. Just a B with a slash through it.
Do you think we could get Christopher Nolan on board to do a dark and gritty Bob the Goon reboot?
I mean, that's the only way to do it. Is dark and gritty. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he said at one time that he might come back for a Catwoman movie. I feel like that would be the other thing.
Catwoman and Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon would be like the other concept that maybe he would come back for.
I could see it.
Everyone loves Bob the Goon. I don't care who you are.
No, there are 3 things in life that are certain. Death, taxes, and a love for Bob the Goon.
And that playing the game of life is irritating. It is.
Yeah, it is. Do you go straight into work, or do you go to school? I can't choose. I had a hard time choosing in my real life. I don't want to have to make that choice again in the game of life.
I actually feel like the game of Bob's life is not a hard game to put together.
It would be a lot of fun.
I really like the idea. It just like, can you get past getting shot with your own gun? Like, can you survive?
It's like the part in Arkham Asylum where the game makes you think you can dodge it, or that you failed because you didn't dodge it.
Yeah, and then it says, next time use the middle stick.
Next time hand Joker the other gun.
I love it so much. Use the middle stick.
Gun.
There it is, folks. You have now, if you made it
Tracy
this
Walter.
far, Oh wow, he gets a pretty good billing there.
Yeah, second.
That's
amazing.
really cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, not like second billing for the whole movie, but right as the credits start. That's really cool.
Yeah, it makes sense because he's the henchman that's the most noticeable. But I wouldn't have pegged him to get like the co-starring, or that's what it said, right? Was co-starring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
look.
The
supervising art director is Leslie Tompkins' cousin, Les Tompkins. Seriously, I'm gonna have some of these memorized by the time we're finished with all these commentaries. Well, folks, if you've made it this far, you have officially wasted 2 hours of your life you will not get back listening to two bozos talking about Bob the Goon.
Tell us your favorite Bob the Goon line of dialogue, if you've made it this far.
You know what my favorite Bob the Goon line of dialogue is?
Which one?
Which of the two? Are we wrong about that? Is there only two? Is there another one or two that we're forgetting?
I think there's only those two.
She's the photographer that's been working with Knox.
Yes, sir.
It's my favorite. She's the photographer that's been working with Knox. That's my favorite.
Oh my god. Okay, so I'm going to look to see if they list what the person with young Jack Napier is called, if they even call him anything by name.
One of the dressing propman's name is Bruce Cheeseman. I think it's probably Cheeseman. It has no E. It's probably Cheeseman.
Is it the sound director or audio engineer for the Flash show that's like Speedweed or something?
Yes, Speedweed. Mm-hmm. Nah, he's done a lot of work.
Well, yeah, he's on Speedweed.
Yeah, no, he's up 26 hours a day, that guy.
That's amazing. That's such a great... It's probably not his real name.
Let's see where Bob... Yeah, look at Bob's... Bob's right under Alicia.
Bob
Good old
Tracy
Walter. He's got some other goons, and there are even several below him.
Yeah, so they say young Jack Napier, young Bruce Wayne. They don't say any of the others.
No, they don't. He's not credited. I don't. Well, other Mugger could be him, but I don't think it is.
That could be.
No. I would assume other Mugger is probably the guys at the beginning.
Yeah, you're right.
We
had Bob the cartoonist, which is
so the Bob the Goon question, like how he gets that name, is answered for us by the fact that it's in these credits.
How so? Just said he's Bob the Goon?
Well, remember I was asking if it came from the action figure. No, it's in the credits.
It sure is.
It sure is. Yep.
Man, compared to credits for movies nowadays, this is a very
really short
credit.
Which is nice, because we have to do this 5 more times. I think that song... Is that song Vicky Waiting? I think that's Vicky Waiting.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Inspired by Vicky sitting around at the Flugelheim Museum waiting. Well, everybody, we really hope you enjoyed our Bob the Goon Batman 89 commentary. We will be back with you again tomorrow with another mystery Batman 89 commentary. Not going to reveal yet what we're going to talk about. We might do another... It won't be another singular character that's largely in the background. We promise this is the only one of those we're doing. But it might be another theme commentary, or we might just chat about the movie again. You'll have to come back to find out. And we hope you're enjoying this bizarre experiment we're doing. So far, speaking for myself, I certainly am.
Oh, I'm enjoying this so much. So much. I'm in love with this movie now.
Well, it's good, because you either would be in love with it or you would blow your brains out with Bob's gun. Thanks again for being here, folks. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Danny.
See you tomorrow.
Not the Goon.
Danny the Goon! Bye, folks.